What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another player rating show here on Back of the Net. Another win, another clean sheet. Job done. It certainly wasn't as exciting, as free-flowing as the thumping of Huddersfield at the weekend, but 1-0 against Wycombe thanks to Junior Stanislas goal, and we got the job done. It wasn't pretty at times. Wycombe come with a game plan. It made it difficult for us. And sometimes you just got to get the job done and get over the line, and that's what we did. So pleased with that. We went unchanged again, and yeah, it's a difficult one, isn't it? You start the game, we had a few early chances, and you think, just get that early goal, and the longer it goes, the harder it's going to be. You've got a team that have come out to take a draw, really, and we got to be prepared to be patient, and we were. And credit to the boys, kept plugging away and got that goal in the end. And I think credit to us as a defensive unit as well. We're known that we'll always score goals in this league, in my opinion. We've got a lot of offensive quality and attacking players, and sometimes you need your defensive unit to keep that clean sheet for you, and that's 4 in a row now. So massive plaudits should go to that as well, because a lot of teams this season will set up against us to ultimately get a draw and try and counter and try and nick something, and we're keeping the back door closed, and that's really important. So yeah, it wasn't pretty, it wasn't as exciting to watch, but we got the job done, and that's all that matters. It's another win. We're top of the league currently. We don't know what's going to happen later on. Norwich playing Reading, but they can't both win, which is a positive, and Watford dropped some points as well. So just keep plugging away. Let's keep grafting away. I think when we're seeing Norwich kind of scrape past teams, we're saying how efficient they are and how they're getting the job done. So let's say the same about us, because we weren't brilliant, but we weren't poor either. Do you know what I mean? It was the way Wycombe set up, but we got the job done, as I say. So let's get straight into the player ratings, and it's always nice, isn't it? You have to start with a goalkeeper in these kind of shows, and so we always start with a positive, because what more can I say about the guy? Regardless of the fact that we're dominating games, and teams are setting up, as I say, to potentially draw and try and nick something on the counter attack. What I will say is every game, Asmir Begovic is still, regardless of the fact we're dominating games, making crucial saves. And again last night, he's made one. I think it was Gareth McCleary. Looks like he's going in the far corner. Great stretch and tips around the post. Fantastic save. And then an Akinfenwa header where it was a really good point blank reaction save. And I've been fortunate enough, being at both games. I was in the Steve Fletcher stand behind the goal on Saturday, and I was in the Ted back for the first time behind the goal last night. And what you realise is how vocal Asmir is and how much of a leader he seems on the pitch as well. And that's another thing that I think he's brought to the side. He's just been, we've lost some leaders, and Asmir's stepping up to it, and it's just been brilliant. Ali, if we'd done a player of the season now, he'd certainly be in the conversation, that's for sure. And can't say much more with Asmir. He's just been tick 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 every game, and he's absolutely brilliant. So loving it, and so chuffed for him, and the fans certainly appreciating him, and him appreciating us, and it's great to see, because he's someone that I think a lot of fans would have thought potentially didn't have a future at AFC Bournemouth. So credit to him, credit to JT, and getting him back in there, and he's got that number 1 jersey, and he's delivering solid performances all the time, and tempting to give him a 10, to be fair, but we're going to go for a 9 for Asmir. Brilliant again, absolutely brilliant. In terms of the defensive unit, and obviously we're still, as I mentioned, we went unchanged, so we're still without Meps. We've got the leader in there, the Colossal, which is Steve Cook, and just magnificent again. I just thought he was brilliant. He just done everything spot on. I think at times Akinfenwa probably won a few too many aerial battles for our liking, but having said that, sometimes you think you kind of allow the striker to win a header if it's not going to go to anyone. He's just flicking it on to nobody. So sometimes it's better to just take a yard and get onto the flick on, get onto that second ball. But on the whole, Cookie was excellent again. He had that sending off in one game. Apart from that, he's just been brilliant as we kind of expect from him, and kind of playing with Simpson at the moment as well, and showing leadership qualities back there. He's another one, like with Asmir, who's very vocal on the pitch and keeping the boys going. And I just love Cookie, and said it before, wouldn't swap him for another centre half in the division. So solid from Cookie again, 8 out of 10 for me. For Steve Cook, superb. And to be fair, as I mentioned there, Jack Simpson's playing with Meps' injury, and I've said before that I feel that in the past he's been chucked in against really tough opposition, likes of Man City, likes of Liverpool, and I wasn't as concerned when he come in at the weekend. I think he's a good defender at this level. Don't think he gets the plaudits actually, and I think he's been solid in both games. I thought he was excellent last night. Really, really good. He went down and looked like he might have to come off injured, but he fought through it and he was brilliant. I really like Jack, and I think he probably knows that he's down the pecking order in terms of centre halves we have available at the club, and all he can do is when called upon, when we get an injury like we have with Meps, he's just got to prove himself in the performances, and that's what he's doing. And credit to JT, we obviously had Diego back last night, but kept Jack in there, and I think he's performed really well. 2 clean sheets, and he's part of that. And yeah, really pleased for Jack because he seems like a real a nice lad and gets on with his job really well and tries to do the right things, and yeah, done really well. So at the moment, I'm happy with him in there, and Jack gets the same as Cookie for me, 8 out of 10. Really good to see. Going into the kind of player onto that left hand side. This is the one I mentioned it when I come on the late on the free for all last night. Lloyd frustrated me last night. Really like Lloyd, and I think he's solid, and I mentioned it. He's still making good blocks, winning good headers, and he's still a solid player to have at the back. But it was more on the ball for me, particularly in that first half. I know him and Junior had a bit of a to do, and he just looked so laboured at times. He got the ball and there'll be yards in front of him that on the other side Steve Cook was just kind of bringing the ball out, and Lloyd was so slow and then just giving the easy pass and wasn't getting beyond Junior quick enough. And yeah, he was frustrating me. He was frustrating me last night, I've got to say. Wasn't awful, but yeah, I'm not sure about Lloyd at the moment. I think we've probably set that expectation with him. He should be, he is a top defender in this league, and I expect a little bit more from him, to be honest with you. I felt he looked a bit casual at times, but still more than happy with Lloyd, and I still think he's a top player. Just it'd be interesting to see what other people think, because sometimes you get a different perception, especially when you're watching from the telly. And obviously I've been there the last couple of games, and I've just felt he slows it down a lot. When we're playing for the back and we're trying to speed it up, and I felt he slowed it down quite a lot. So yeah, a little bit disappointing for me from Lloyd. Having said that, we kept a clean sheet, and he's part of that, so I don't want to give him a too low rating, but I think I've got to be honest as well and say that he was probably one that stood out that I felt was below par last night. So I'm just going to give a 6 for Lloyd. Not going to be too harsh. As I say, he was part of the defensive unit that kept a clean sheet and the 4th in a row at the end of the day. But yeah, just expect a little bit more from Lloyd personally. It'd be interesting to see what everyone else thinks on that. In terms of the kind of wing backs, fullback / wing backs, on that right hand side, we've got Smithy, obviously with Stacey still out at the moment, and yeah, Smithy for me is all engine, energy great again, trying to do the right things, and I actually felt it was quite evident at times he was, particularly in that first half, where like I said it was a little bit slow at times, a little bit predictable. He was trying to come inside like he does and make them runs and gain a bit of ground and get us up the pitch, and I thought he'd done that well. And he done his job defensively when called upon as well. He got forward. He probably would have liked a bit better decision making at times in terms of his final pass or his final cross. But you know what you're going to get from Smithy. All heart, all energy for 90 minutes and try to drive the team on. So yeah, more than happy with him at the moment. He's having to play a lot of minutes. He was getting rotated and moving positions a little bit more at the start of the season, but with Stacey out for a little bit at the moment, he's been called upon to play there kind of every game, and I'm more than happy with him doing a job well without being spectacular. So happy with Smithy. We're going to give Smithy a 7. Don't think he was quite to the same levels as Simpson and Cook. Kind of on the other side, to that left hand side, this could be one we'll probably have to go into a little bit more detail about, Junior Stanislas. And let's start with what we're all aware of, probably been overspoken about a little bit, and the media have got hold of it and stuff, but a bit of a rumpus at the end with Sam Surridge, as we saw. Kind of whether or not he wanted him to pass it, or whether or not he wanted Surridge to run it into the corner, we're not sure. But he reacted to late on Surridge cutting inside and having a shot that he did actually win a corner from, to be fair, and seemed to have a go at Surridge. Surridge seemed to react and say something back, and a few little handbags in there, which not nice to see. And let's get it right. Stan overstepped the mark. He's one of our more experienced players, and Surridge is a young lad, and I think Stanley, no, he overstepped the mark there. I think in the first half where he had a little bit of a go at Lloyd, I actually think he was justified, really. He was waiting for Lloyd for God knows how long. But yeah, weird one. Stan seems getting frustrated in the game. I hope there's nothing more to that kind of off the pitch, because don't see that from Junior a lot. And yeah, he overstepped the mark. But let's get it right. I've played football. I'm sure plenty of you watching have played football, and can't count the amount of times I've had a go at someone who's one of my teammates on the pitch, and afterwards it's all fine. And I would always say, if someone asked me, why did you get so frustrated at one of your teammates, I'd say, because I care. And it's because I want to win. And yeah, you don't like to see it. You like to keep that kind of on the training pitch and behind closed doors. But at the end of the day, I'd rather that than we've all questioned people, especially when we went down last season, in terms of not caring and not showing enough heart. And let's at least say, try and put a positive spin on it. It shows that Junior cares and that he's getting frustrated for the right reasons. But yeah, I think what was key as well is that I think it was Phil Billing tweeted after the game something along the lines of, let's hope we can show the aggressiveness of Junior and Sam going forward, with a laughing emoji. And I think it shows that they've gone into the dressing room, had a bit of a laugh about it. You know, it's done now. It's done now. Let's move on. At the end of the day, he's the match winner. And I didn't think he was fantastic before that. I thought in the first half he tried to drive us on and was beating men quite easily and doing well. And then it was his final decision making. There was one moment where I thought he should have shot and he crossed. And then there was a moment where I thought he should have crossed and he shot. A few times like that where he almost seemed to have too much time. So it was a bit frustrating, but he was trying to make things happen. And the thing with Junior is he done what he does best. He got in the right position and he finished off, and another goal for him. I think he's got a few for the season now. So still pleased with June. And I think I'm just going to be, he wasn't doing well, and then I was probably going to go, let's give him a rating higher because he got the goal, and then we had the rumpus at the end, which probably dropped him down. So I'm just going to go over 7. But I think if it weren't for the rumpus at the end, I probably would have notched him up to an 8 because he was the match winner. But Junior's didn't have one of his best games, but he wasn't awful and he was the match winner. But he had a rumpus. Yeah, there was a lot for Junior last night, but at the end of the day, he's still providing the goods on the pitch. He got us over the line, so happy with Julian. I think everything will be fine. Let's not worry about it too much. It's going to be overhyped a little bit, I think. Just looking for the next one, going to that kind of more central positions in midfield. And as I mentioned earlier, we're going to Lewis Cook, and I said about Asmir earlier, and he would have been. I think he's probably going to get the man of the match in terms of on social media and through FC Bournemouth and things like that. But for me, I'm giving it to Lewis over the 90 minutes. I mean, I can't argue with Asmir Begovic, of course not. But for me, it's Lewis for 90 minutes. Watching him live, that's the Lewis Cook that we know, that we signed, and what a player! Effortless at times. He makes football look so easy. He looks like he's enjoying it. He's just dictating the pace of the football match. He's good when he gets the ball. He looks to create. He's snapping at people's heels, trying to win the ball back. He's starting virtually every move that we have, every attack, every opportunity we have. In best central midfielder in the league, without question for me. Just brilliant. If we could just keep him fit, then he's gonna play a big part in our promotion push, because he's just sensational and it's really good to see. I think we got frustrated with Lewis at times in the Premier League. I think his injuries didn't help. He was coming in and out of the side and things like that. But he needed a run of games, and I think our frustration was because we know what a player he is, and he's showing that now. He was top draw last night, and he's just so good to watch, and so good to watch. The amount of times you were clapping a bit of work that Lewis did, fantastic. And I put on Twitter, the saying's too many cooks spoil the broth. Well, definitely not, in my opinion, because we've got 2 that are just sensational every week. And Lewis is getting my man of the match. 9 out of 10 for Lewis. Fantastic again. Loving what I'm seeing from Lewis every single week now. And 2 a little bit more advanced from him in the central areas. My man Jeff, thought he was good. I thought he got better in the second half. Below par in the first half for me. A few misplaced passes. We're struggling a little bit on that right side, trying to get forward. Wasn't final ball again, like a lot of the players, was off it a little bit. But I thought he improved in the second half, and he's, as always, very reliable and put in a shift and done it well without being spectacular. Hit one over the bar, which was a bit frustrating, but he was still solid, Jeff, and he was still someone you didn't think about taking off, because he can break the play up, work tirelessly throughout, and he was helping knock the ball around. It was just first half, felt he misplaced a few, and he set high standards like a lot of them have. So just going to go for a 7 for Jeff, but always happy with him. As always, still very consistent for me. Phil Billing, he's done really well for us last couple of games and earned the right to start. He was back to a little bit below par. I felt last night. Probably him and Lloyd were two that I felt were a little bit off it for me personally. Didn't think he was awful. Made a few nice movements, a few nice passes, but was a bit laboured at times as well. Gave the ball away a few times, and he was the man that we took off when we needed to change something and get that goal at the end of the day. And I remember at the time saying to my mate that was the sub I'd make, get Surridge on, and I'd probably take Billing off because it wasn't quite happening for him. But I'm still happy with what I'm seeing from Billing on the whole. I think he's improving. He's been very good in the last 2 games, and he just dropped a little bit below them levels. But I'm still more than happy with the attitude and the fight he's showing now. I think that was something that we weren't sure on. So at least we're seeing that from Billing. But yeah, he was below par. He was back to a little bit laboured in that last night. But he hasn't played a lot of football, and then he's played his third on the bounce. So he looked a little bit leggy, and I wonder if it was that. And we'll see. But yeah, he was. I'm going to give him the same as Lloyd and a 6. But I probably was tempted to go 7, but wasn't quite on it last night. So I'm going to give Billy a 6. And then more attacking areas. David Brooks, and we know the class he has, and I think that's the problem, is that you expect so much from Brooksy, don't you? Because you feel like he can just win a game on his own in this league. And so from that point of view, he was below par. But in general, he still helped make things happen. He was still key in that goal. He got the assist. Good work with Junior for the goal. And he's still effortless at times, still gliding past players. Just a few times, particularly in that first half, where I felt, again, decision-making, where I thought he hung on to the ball a little bit too long and maybe made the wrong decision. But I remember putting a really nice ball through for Junior in that first half as well. And he's someone that you felt like was always going to be involved if we were going to break them down. And he was. He got the assist. And Brooksy's still a class act. Be interested to see if he plays on the weekend, because I can't even fit. It's got to be 8+ games he started in a row now. Without looking, I'm not sure exactly, but it feels like about that. And that's a lot for a player that's had his injury problems. So be interesting to see, because be very surprised to see us go unchanged for a third game in a row with the hectic fixture schedule. So we'll see with Brooksy, but regardless, he's still a classy player. But for his levels, I think he dropped a little bit. So I'm going to give Brooksy a 7. But yeah, still a wonderful player to watch, isn't he? Similarly, really, with Dom up top, I was real blow because I wanted to see him get them back-to-back goals that he's searching for, as he's yet to do that. But I felt for him a little bit. I thought he instantly looked better when Surridge come on and he had someone closer to him. I felt he was isolated. I felt we were asking him to run the channels all the time and just playing that same ball to him. It was a bit predictable, and he was asked to do a lot of running and be that man that received the ball and then get it and turn and try to beat a man. And he was asked to do a bit too much, I felt, and we weren't getting enough people in and around him. He had a really good chance after about 5 minutes, that header. I felt we done everything right, probably a little bit too central, but he got his head on it well, and Rocky made a good save, to be fair to him. But I think that was about 4 minutes in, and that was something. If that goes in, I think we get another 5-0. Do you know what I mean? It's one of them. When you're playing against a team set up like that, the early goal's crucial, and that's why when you don't get that, you've got to be patient and settle for the 1-0, which we got. Shame he didn't get on the score sheet again, but still well happy with Dom. He's still working his socks off and putting in a good shift, and still doing all the right things when he got the ball, I felt, to be fair to him. Because he didn't get a goal and the levels he set again, I'm going to go similarly with Brooks, really. He set that bar high, so I'm just going to give him a 7. But still more than happy with Dom. And I think he's the only player, someone correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I think he's the only player that's played a part in every single game. I was thinking about it. I haven't actually seen the stat, but I had to think about it and thought the only games he was left out of was Watford, and he come on early because of Lerma getting injured, and Sheffield Wednesday, and he come on, and then I think he started every other game. Think about other players, and Steve Cook's had a suspension in there. Asmir didn't start the first game against Blackburn. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that Dom's the only one that's played a part in every single game. So we're asking a lot of Dom, and he's putting in a shift every game. So credit to him for that. In terms of the subs, I won't go individually, but made the 4 and as a collective. Brought Sam Surridge on, and I think he deserves credit again, because without being involved in the goal in terms of a goal or an assist. He come on the pitch and pretty quickly we got the goal because he's forever running them channels. He's forever causing problems. He had a few chances himself when he come on, and that shows that he's doing the right things and he's knocking on the door again. And since he's man of the match, he hasn't got into the team. So be interesting to see because there's only so much he can do. I think, as I mentioned earlier, I think we're going to make changes for the weekend because I can't see us going unchanged 3 games in a row with a hectic fixture schedule. So wouldn't surprise me if Sam comes on. I think having 2 up there might be a way to go because teams are trying to make it difficult to break down, and getting another body closer to Don might be key. And yeah, Sarah's done that again, and obviously we've already gone into the thing with Stan, and I was happy with Surridge when he come on, and I was pleased that he was the first sub we made because we had Josh King on the bench, but he showed that faith in Sam Surridge. But as for Josh, he come on and weren't sure if we'd see him in a Bournemouth shirt again. I really wasn't, but fair play. You know, Jason and Josh are the only ones that know where his head's at. Is he playing to try and get that shot winner for January? We shall see. But on the face of it, we can only do what we see. He come on the pitch, worked his socks off, look classy at times, and look good for me. If he's going to come on and put in a shift like that, I'm more than happy with him to do that. So fair play to him. Diego and Goz both come on as well and just done their jobs well without setting the world alight. You know, Goz come on, done what we asked of him, and Diego the same. So be interested to see if any of them 4 or anyone else come into the team for the weekend, because I think there will be a few out there. Brooksy, Junior, Billing, few in there that you're thinking, I wonder if they'll get rotated with the hectic schedule. But in terms of the gaffer, JT named an unchanged side, which you couldn't argue with if he felt they were all fresh and fit enough, then can't argue with that. It was such a good performance at the weekend. And then again, we're 0-0. He's made a change and we've got the goal. So he's adapting in games really well as well. So really happy for JT, and he's getting the boys going, and I'm pretty happy with the team selections, the changes in games, and how we're going about it really. So can't ask for much more from JT. It will be interesting to see, like I say, what we do on the weekend. But yeah, I'm more than happy with what I see, and I'm really pleased for him that got the fans back in there, and got a few fans back in there anyway, and we've had 2 clean sheets and 2 wins, and yeah, really pleased to see. And big thanks to JT as well, as I'm sure many of you have seen, working alongside the Talking Cherries, and we needed £300 to make our target, and JT come straight in and delivered the £300 and said that, you know, he's supporting us, and really nice to see. Top bloke, and yeah, really enjoying what I'm seeing, and really pleased for him as well. So if we're going to do a rating, I'll just give him a solid 8. We got the job done, and really pleased with Jason on the whole. So it'd be interesting to see what everyone thinks. I'm sure many will say Asmir for man of the match, and I can't argue with that. You know, I just wanted to appreciate what Lewis did over 90 minutes because I thought he was brilliant. But let me know what you think. Let me know what you think as well on in particular on kind of Lloyd and Phil, especially if you were there. Do you agree with me? And if you weren't there, did you see things a little bit differently? Be interested what you think. I just felt particularly Lloyd just slowed it down a little bit. But I'd be interested to see what everyone thinks, and let me know if you agree in terms of Lewis and Asmir getting the kind of higher ratings and things like that. And what would you do for the weekend? Because I don't know about you, but I think it will be a really difficult one. I remember looking when the fans were potentially returning against Huddersfield, and then we had the Wycombe game, and then Luton before Christmas, and I was kind of looking at that 3 games and thinking 7 points minimum. If we can do that, I'll be well happy. Well, we got 6, and minimum expectation for the weekend will be a point. So, and I'm still more than confident we can go there and win. Don't get me wrong, but it wouldn't be a disaster away from home. But I think Luton will be a difficult one. I think they're doing well this season. I think they're going to be a tough nut to crack again. And I think rotation will be key. I'll be very surprised, as I say, if we go unchanged again. Jason knows what the fatigue and what the fitness levels are like behind the scenes, so I don't think it's too appropriate to go into kind of what I potentially want the team to be. But in terms of what we know, Diego maybe coming back in, Sam Surridge maybe, rotation for maybe Brooksy, maybe Billing, we'll see. But hopefully Arnie's getting closer as well. We see that he looks like he's getting a little bit closer, and Meps and Stacey still not quite ready by the looks of it. And we don't know if Cameron Carter-Vickers is a footballer at the moment. We haven't seen him yet, bless him. But yeah, let's see. But looking forward to it, and looking forward to. I mean, I've got a decent Christmas jumper on, and I'm gonna have to get something special out for the next one, which will be the last one before Christmas. So yeah, let me know. Once again, appreciate all the support, appreciate all the love, and all the content at the moment. Well on Sammy Davis, it's good stuff at the moment. So enjoying it. Been great to get back in there as well. So going to be weird to go back to watching behind the screen again at the weekend, but look forward to it nevertheless. Keep smiling, keep positive. When I'm recording this video, we are top of the league, so let's enjoy that. Up Cherries.